If you like to lock down your opponents and control the tempo of a game, you're gonna love this. Today we're breaking down a new Stoutland Control deck for Pokemon Pocket that can win games by outlasting aggro decks and even turning the tables with a special tech, a Rampardos Knockout. This 20 card list leans into a disruptive mid-range playstyle. The deck's core strategy revolves around Stoutland's ability, Guard Dog Visage, adding +1 energy cost to your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks as long as Stoutland is in the active zone. That single energy tax doesn't sound like much, but until you are playing against Buzzwole EX and any other meta deck, even cards like Solgaleo and Charizard Shining Revelry, that single energy tax doesn't sound like much until Buzzwole EX has to wait an extra turn or two just to land a punch. But this isn't just stalling for stall's sake. You control the pace of the match, chip away with efficient, colorless attacks, then switch gears into your Rampardos to knock out a key threat and end the game with a burst. And the best part is that this deck is really low cost for energy. Stoutland is 2 energies, Rampardos requires just 1 fighting energy for Head Smash, which hits for 130, more than enough to wipe out common threats like Silvally, Tapu Koko EX, or any pre-evolution stalling on the field. Sure, you pay 50 recoil only if you secure the knockout, but if it wins the match, it's worth it. Some of the key cards for this deck are Stoutland and Giant Cape. Capes extends Stoutland to 160 HP, letting it tank even mid-game X swings. Against decks like Solgaleo, Buzzwole, Silvally, they need 2 to 4 turns just to attack. Lillipup plus Rare Candy, the math is tight. 2 Lillipup, 1 Herdier, 2 Stoutland plus 2 Rare Candy. You get multiple reliable routes to get into your Stoutland by turn 2. With 2 Skull Fossil and 1 Cranidos, you only need to hit 1 Rare Candy to turn the board. It's not your opener, but when you need to pivot from control to offense, it wins games. You can also play 2 Rampardos instead of the 1 Cranidos and the 1 Rampardos for a more offensive strategy, but when you use up your Rare Candies for your Rampardos or your Stoutlands, be mindful that a second Rampardos can be a brick. The last key card in this deck is Lillie, essential for healing in a format with very few recovery tools. Drop it late to keep Stoutland alive for another turn or to save Rampardos from recoil knockouts. Because we are playing the Fossil Evolution lines, you are always guaranteed Lillipup in the starting hand. Lillipup plus Research or Rare Candy is already a great starting hand. Anything else in the hand will be fine, but those 3 cards essentially are just perfect for a starting hand because the idea of this deck is to turbo into your Stoutland for control immediately. And by turn 1 to turn 2, establishing Stoutland via Rare Candy or evolve into Herdier if needed, using Research to dig into your candy pieces early, stalling an extra turn is always worth it. You get into your Rampardos easily onto the bench and you've got your safety net play all good to go. In the mid game, keep Stoutland in the active as long as possible to stretch out your opponent's setup. Use Sabrina to punish decks that rely on stacking buffs like Buzzwole, Darkrai, or Arceus. Attach Giant Cape and begin chipping with Sharfang. Remember, Rampardos can be used for quick sweeps, but the focus is on Stoutland. But you don't have to take this as you must play like this. Assess the game state and apply your own playstyle to it. If you want to focus on Rampardos instead of Stoutland, mix and match the strategies, that works too. It's all depending on what the game state is going to be. I like to keep Rampardos towards the end, and I'll tell you why. Because Rampardos closes games. As we touched up on already on this deck profile and this deck breakdown, the ideal target for Rampardos is going to be a 2 prize EX, and you want to swing with Rampardos at full HP. Why? Because if it knocks out one of your opponent's Pokemon, it's going to do 50 damage to itself, which is going to severely weaken your Rampardos, so you want to be tactical on how you utilize its attack. Remember to use Leaf to pivot and go aggressive. If you're at 2 points, your opponent at 1, Rampardos is always your finishing move. Secure that knockout and take that game. And looking at the meta, your strongest matchups, the ones that are going to be really good for you, Buzzwole EX, Tapu Koko EX, Silvally is going to be like easy games for you. Why? Because Buzzwole wants to snowball fast, but Stoutland delays every attack by a full turn. By the time they're ready, you've healed or transitioned into Rampardos in theory to put pressure on Buzzwole and Celesteela. And against Tapu Koko, 90 damage or Oricorio versus your tanky stage 2s, yeah, it doesn't work because we are all single prizers and we play 0 EX, so in theory that Oricorio is just another attacker. And Silvally, it's great because one, Silvally has low HP and its inherent weakness to fighting, that just gives you an extreme advantage. A quick pivot to Cranidos to chip and go for easy knockouts is one of the reasons I include Cranidos over 2 Rampardos. And Arceus, I've been seeing it a lot more often. I wasn't going to include it in this deck profile strategy, but I've just been playing against so many and I'm just bulldozing them with Stoutland and with Rampardos and Cranidos. It's been fantastic. And the decks that this strategy is weak against, Solgaleo EX, yeah, it's kind of like an even trade, but what really makes Solgaleo EX shine against this strategy, it's the free active switch. Consistent Pokemon search and adding to hand and fast energy attachments make this deck harder to lock. The deck can accelerate past your control plan because Solgaleo has 180 HP and only needs 2 energies to attach. It switches in for free. Here, your focus is Rampardos ASAP so that you can just do big heavy damage and then switch into your Stoutland so that you can lock up the bench for any sort of counter play. And of course, it's going to be weak to mirror matches. Any variants of Rampardos or fighting decks that can outpace you with raw damage might pull ahead, especially if they hit their evolution lines before you. And with Stoutland being weak to fighting, Lucario, Rampardos, and even Garchomp EX can swing for fast knockouts. I did not include Shining Reveille Charizard in a good matchup or a bad matchup, and the reason being is because I genuinely believe that we have a neutral matchup against Charizard Shining Revelry, and the reason why is Stoke is diabolical. It's so good that the player doesn't even feel Stoutland's effects, but it's not unbeatable. Like I said, I like to think that this is a neutral trade. It all depends on luck sometimes with this one, and your focus is going to be pulling out those Charmeleons, those Charmanders as quickly as possible and just locking them down with Stoutland or switching into your Cranidos and just going for full 50 attacks per turn. Another reason why I like to play 1 Cranidos with 1 Rampardos, it's just easier, consistent, and it gives you more flexibility with attacking. This Stoutland Control list has the tools to win against aggressive meta staples and the flexibility to punish greedy plays with Rampardos. Whether you're grinding ranked or looking for a smart mid-range deck, this list gives you tempo, board presence, and comeback potential. If you're climbing to Master Ball and you don't want to play the meta and you want to do it your way, control, clean, calculated, fun, this is your deck. Smash the like button, subscribe if you like this type of content, and drop your favorite evolution line in the comments. See you in the next match, and let's jump into that gameplay.